First, let's start with mindset. From your perspective as a venture capitalist, what qualities or mindset in young founders make you think that this person could go far?
So so first of all, thanks for having me. So basically, as a venture capital, so there are different stage of venture capital. So for example, very early stage or early stage, when the business has not a lot of tractions, not completed or not market fit, product market fit yet. So for different from growth stage or data stage venture capitals where startups or business has quite a decent tractions, and they have good business model already, has product market fit. So I think because now I'm working for a early stage venture capital, so I think it's good for me to share some of qualities for founders in venture capital early stage, and especially young founders. So first of all, they are really smart smart means you, of course, you have the idea, you have some understanding about the market, about the products, about the sector, and also and very open-minded. Like you have, of course, you have the understanding, but you have to be open-minded, because sectors, the industry, like competitors, moving very fast. So you have to adapt to all of their, they change to to build your own defensibility. So you have to be open-minded, so smart, open-minded, sharp, and of course so I mean that's very basic qualities that we want to bet on this kind of founders, because for example, just in Vietnam. So normally, basically, in Vietnam, in short, the venture capital market is still very early market, not really mature market. So not not a lot of acid to to be, not acid, so a lot not a lot of quantitative methods, to to understand if they are successful founders or not. So of course you have to bet on some very basic stuffs right now at the moment. So smart, sharp, of course passionate, and also of course I think the most important is about open-minded, being open-minded. And it's more like emotional intelligence is more important nowadays, especially in the movement of the AI.
I see. Those are definitely some very important factors to consider indeed. So, on the flip side, actually, what motivates you personally to become a venture capitalist, to support early stage founders, especially in minor markets, like you said, and especially those just starting out?
So of course it's an honor to meet all the founders at the very early stage, since even since day one, or some very early days when they just have idea, just like MVP, minimum viable product. And also they just starting going out to the market, finding or having just very first a few of the customers. So of course I just want to see people growing up day by day, because sorry, because there's a lot of stuff, a lot of work to do in the early days, finding customers, having teammates, manage a team at first, like keep yourself like motivated, because like just early stage founders, very young founders, just starting out, have a lot of things to worry about. Like not only the base model not completed, the products, like you need to fix this and that, and like you being more open-minded, and you keep the open-minded means, like you have to adapt very quickly. So I just, like want to see that I can see the process, like from from very early days, see, like own the challenge, like they make through the, like in every obstacles, every difficulties. So if they, so like if they can find a way, especially find a smart way, and giving, like keeping their passion, like to build a business. So I think, like that motivates me a lot. So in short, like just the people, like I love, like interacting with people, communicating, being helpful for them, and see them, like grow day by day. So of course, like it motivates me a lot, and also it's also my lessons, also where I can learn a lot from them, and of course, like it will be helpful for me in some day.
Okay, and throughout your journey of supporting these ventures and zooming in on those early days of a startup, what is the most important thing you think that young or first-time founders should focus on when they're just getting started?
Oh, I think so, like most important thing, like for young and, like first time founders, like something, like just, like believe in yourself, and open minded. Of course, I think, like in this time, like you can change everything. You can change product, you can change the strategy, even you can change the whole business model. Like if you think that, like it's not suitable with the market, with the market, or like just the competitors, or something competition, or something like that, or even, like change a lot of the, for example, like regulation, as we can see with the tariff recently, and in this, like very volatile market. So of course, like you need to be open-minded, and willing to learn, willingness to learn, like every time, learn from mistake, learn from other people, and also still, like believe in yourself, and keep the passion to be a startup founders. I think is the most important thing. So because you open minded, you and willingness, you have the willingness to learn, so you can, of course, like you're willing to listen from other, like people, like other people, in maybe investor, maybe other founders, or even, like willing to listen, like even their own customers as well. So I think it's very important, very important. Yeah.
Okay. And what are some of the common mistakes that you think entrepreneurs make when they're trying to raise their first round of funding?
So, like for young, like young founders, like trying to get the funding. Of course, like there are, there are some mistakes, but, like I don't think, like I'm, like I'm good enough, like to judge, like mistakes. They try to get funding, because, like of course, like when you become founders, you decide to become founders, like of course you have, like the bravery, and also of course, you have knowledge, and also you think that, like you can build startup. So of course, like you have to give credit to all of them first. So, like to see the mistake, because, like in this time, like things, like change very quickly. So I mean, like the mistake, like normally, like you, in the difficult time, in very tough time in this market, where, like the funding even the funding market, like it's very difficult right now. So I can say, like the most, like common mistake that, like they try to do startup or try to build business, and they by using a lot, depending, or I can say depending a lot on the funding. For example, like you should, like bootstrap, or like survive or live by yourself without funding, without secure funding. So that is the good way. Or like when you trying so hard to get the funding, and you only depend on those VC funding in the very early stage. So I don't think it's a good approach. You have to live by yourself first, and you think that, like without the funding you can do okay. At least, like you can survive. You can build a product. You can have customer, your own customer first, or at least, like have the minimum viable product first, or just, like very first version of products. Or you can just, like enter the market. You can go to market to find customers. I think it's much better way. Or if you keep the mindset that, like you have to go to the VCs to get the funding, to, like to fund for the business to get going. So I think it's not a good approach.
See. And from what I know, the venture capital is quite a risky thing to pursue when a founder, I guess, doesn't have too much experience yet, and maybe they just have a prototype and a dream. So how do you evaluate potential in someone like that? What signals really matter to you the most when deciding to back a young founder?
So, like of course, like when like first time founders, or like young founders, like, or just, like they just, like graduate, or like they just, like coming out from corporates. So, or like, but like potential, like of course, like we can see that, like of course I mentioned I mentioned earlier about, like young founders or first time founders, when qualities, like we appreciate the most, like it's about their sharpness, like they are smart, and also their willingness to learn. So of course, like evaluate potential of the founder always, like for us, like we based on that. So for example, like smart, sharp, open-minded, like for example, like of course, like they will help us understand more about the market, understand more about the sector they are coming in. Because of course, like when you become the fathers, you have to understand the sector, you have to understand the market, at least, like the competitive landscape, which, like your competitors in the market. If you don't know that, so I don't think, like it's a good timing for you to enter the market as a founder. But like if they can, like they can, of course, like they can teach us about the sector, about the business, about the customer. So, like that's, like one of the most important thing. Because, like of course, like we're just, like investors. So we just understand in every sector, like just, like very generally, or just, like not too deep, as, like people who have very deep, like skin in the game, and of course, like they have experience, they have exposure on that, maybe based on experience, or maybe based on something, their working experience, or based on the other things. But, like they understand the market, the sector more than us, so they have to teach us. And if those things, like we find that, like suitable, or, like we think is valid, so of course, like and we see, like they are sharp, they are willingness to learn, they're open-minded, they're open with new ideas, willing, like they have, yeah, discuss or exchange ideas a lot. So of course, like we value that.
Hmm. So now let's talk about some regional trends and opportunities for young founders, and especially for those in Southeast Asia. So what kind of problems from your career experience have you think that are what kind of problems or industries do you think are ripe for young entrepreneurs to explore in Vietnam or the region?
So yes, so I mean these questions, like it's a little bit, I don't know how to say, but like there's no, like every, like every industry, every sectors, like has their own problems. Maybe, but like in always, they have their own problems. So so explore, like in Vietnam or South Asia to go regional, like it's like two, like different perspective, like maybe you can see that, like soft, or maybe you can see, say in the next point, maybe, like for example, like local problems, or like global problems. So right now, even, like in the big market or even in small market, there's already a niche for them, like to crack in. So I think, like it depends a lot on their knowledge, their experience, and your personality. You see, like the local market is enough for them. So of course, like you just trying to solve the local problems first, and then, or like, if you think, like for example, like thanks to the AI booming, everyone can have exposure with AI. Everyone, like who have just, like the code background can build a product very easily. So, like if you, it's good for you to have, like regional mindset, global mindset, because, like you can sell product easier, much easier than before, thanks to, like the powerful of AI right now. So for example, like in our portfolio in Vietnam, so we invested in, like some companies just only serve the local market. For example, like Coolmade is a D2C menswear, one of the most reputable brands in Vietnam. So just like, like mostly they focus on local market, because, like for example, like menswear, we just, like they don't have the, like the brand can sell everything for them at a reasonable price. So, and the market is very fragmented. So, like Kume is doing well, or, like, but the market is still there, like fashion for men is still there for a very long time. And like, well, we invested in M Village. M Village is one of the, like highest growing hospitality for AMZ in the last, like 3 to 4 years, I can say. So just, like the hospitality industry, like it's a, like it's a big, very big industry, and also, like it's one of the most, like booming sector in Vietnam, hospitality. So of course, like they're doing well because, like they crack in, like the local problems. Like for example, like you know like like they just, like the right timing for them, like they booming after, like COVID, when a lot of tourists, like they coming back to Vietnam, and they provide, like very, like unique product. For example, like four star room, but, like 2-star service and 2-star price. So yeah, and also, like they have the right timing, they have the experience to do, they have the team to help them to do that. So I think also, like only local market, so I think it's okay. But, like for very young founders, recently they building apps, and, like they sell it globally, like, like sell on Google Play, or sell it on App Store. Some of the AI apps, for example, like solving math problems, or, like workflow automation, or some note taking app, or something like that. So I mean, of course, like you can build, a very decent product with, like very decent, or earlier revenue, like big chunk of revenue, like decent revenue in very early days, comparing with, like startups like years ago, like previous generation, so-called, like I can call that previous generation of founders. So I mean it depends a lot. So of course, like depends on knowledge, depends on the exposure, and depends on the, like characteristic. I mean it just only like depends on founder. So I don't want to, like to jump into a specific problem or specific industry for young founders. And of course, like this don't limit, your market. Of course, you see, at least like you see the problem and you try to solve that. Don't care. Please don't like of course not caring too much about if Vietnam is small or something like that, or just go regional is better. Of course, like regional, you have a lot of like competitors and stronger competition. So it depends. Yeah. So just open minded.
Now, finally, if you could give one piece of advice, either about books or resources or actions to take now for young entrepreneurs, what do you think it would be?
Oh, so yeah, it's I think like I don't know because VC and founders are quite like different. Of course, like the whole conversation from very early. So I mentioned about being open minded. Is of course like is one of them were hungry to learn, and of course like of course for VC and for founders like just do it like just do everything you can learn like seeing people starting basis just like believe in yourself, just believe in yourself. I mean open-minded and believe in yourself because like if you don't believe in yourself, so I don't think you can be successful in VCs or like of course like founder because you cannot keep like yourself like motivation and you keep asking or just like just thinking but not really like doing things doing actual things. So yeah, so I know just like very very simple, you starting from very simple things like being open-minded and just believe in yourself and just do it. I think yeah, I think that's all. I think that's all. And like of course like learn every day, learn everything, learn from people, learn from like learn from your own experience, your own mistakes. And yeah, and I think like that's all.
No, that's very meaningful. And thank you so much, Mr. Hoy, for sharing your insights with us today. I know that so many of our listeners, especially young entrepreneurs or founders, are going to walk away from this episode feeling both smarter and more inspired especially from your very inspiring words at the end there. Thank you so much.
Yes, yeah, like as like a very, I can call like young VC, young venture capitalist like in very young market like Vietnam, just like very early. I think still early days in terms of startups, and also a lot of things, a lot of the unstable things happen right now. And like but of course like I can say like with thanks to like the booming of AI, so we have a new, I can say, a new generations of founders, new generation of startups. So but like things like happen, things like change very quickly. So but like you have to I think just only so we can say anything, we can say anything, right? So just like for young founders like just back to very basic, like just be passionate, believe in yourself, and keeping open-minded, willing to learn from from everyone and everywhere. That's all. Yeah. So we think so. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much for that.